All right, we are at that noon hour. Welcome. Hello, everybody at home if you're joining us. We got a live studio audience, so Power Hour today. My name is John, and our focus today, I named this class, and as you guys probably know, I like doing hips. I do a lot of hip stuff, and so this one's called Outer Hips World. Outer Hips World. And so, oh, here comes the other person. So we're going to be working outer hips. So there'll be other hip things, but mostly focusing on outer hips. So let's go ahead and start a mountain pose. I know we have one other person just pulled up that I know just signed up, so he'll be coming in. But we'll start a mountain pose. Yeah, start with a few deep breaths in and out. Make them audible. You might fill your lungs by breathing in through your nose. A nice exhale at the side, kind of let the body go loose. Just noticing if there's tension. Yeah, there you go. Shake it out. Get those wiggles out. Roll your shoulders, a little circle of the wrists. And do that again. Another full inhale. Exhale. Letting it go. Let the body go loose. And then when you're set, you can just come to a nice, tall mountain pose, feeling steady and strong. Feel your feet root into the ground. Continue with slow, steady breaths, this mindfulness and connection to breath. That's it. And just begin your journey inward as you're finding stillness, perhaps an ease now in your mind and body. We prepare for our moving practice. Very good. Go ahead and take 3 more slow, deep breaths in and out. When you're ready, go ahead and inhale, extend your arms into the air. Take your time with this, really reach high, nice stretch there at the top. Exhale, we'll fold forward. So it's a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and just slowly fold. You might touch your toes, but you don't have to at this point. Maybe you're just coming down partially. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs to extend your spine so you're a long tabletop. And exhale, we'll fold again. And you can go as deeply as you'd like or stay up as high as you need to. You might even bend the knees a bit more so you can just hang heavily forward so your fingers might just kind of dangle and touch the ground or your toes. And just take another moment to feel some release in the body, maybe the upper body this time with the shoulders rolling, making circles, a little shake of your head. Maybe nod yes and shake head no. Even a little sway of the upper body left and right. Maybe you'll feel a release or some sensation in your low back and hips. And of course in our forward fold, a nice stretch feeling in the hamstrings, allowing gravity to draw you downward to get that full length through your spine. Then from here, let's go ahead and inhale, slide your hands back up to your knees or thighs. Hold here as you exhale, so we form this tabletop or half forward fold. Just hold for a moment and just feel the energy of the body, the crown of your head leading you forward, your hips and tailbone moving back. And then from here, just lean back a bit more into your heels, bend your knees, look forward, take your arms out, and then stand up, reach into the air. Nice stretch there at the top. Exhale, go ahead and bring your palms together and down to your heart. Just pause for a moment, take a breath or two. Nice refreshing breaths. Good. We'll go ahead and do that same sequence again, or just making it flow, half salute. Here we go. When you're ready, inhale, reach into the sky, that nice stretch. Go at your own pace. Exhale, we'll fold forward. Again, a good bend of your knees. Make your way down, maybe touching toes. Inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs and feel that nice elongation through the spine. We'll exhale to fold again towards toes. Just a brief pause there to feel, notice. Lean back into your heels, bend your knees, look forward, extend your arms out to the side. With an inhale, we'll stand up tall. Reach into the sky. There you go. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. And once again, we'll come back to stillness. Breathe in, breathe out. A couple more times on your own. And always a reminder, this is your practice, so move as you'd like to move, modify, change things up whenever you need to. Just listen to what your body needs today. Here we go. Let's inhale, extend the arms into the air, reach high. We'll exhale to fold forward. Always okay to put a good bend in your knees. Inhale, rise up halfway, long, flat back. On the exhale, bend your knees enough to place your hands on your mat so you can walk or step both of your feet back into plank pose, this high push-up position. We'll take a breath in, and the exhale, a slight bend in the knees. Lift your hips into the air, and this is our shortcut to downward facing dog. Make some adjustments with the feet, perhaps with your hands, just adjusting them on your mat so you can settle into your inverted pose. And maybe spread out the fingers a bit, even grip the mat with the fingertips so it's a little less pressure in the wrist, hopefully. And maybe pedal the feet. So you're pressing one heel down as the other heel lifts, and then just alternate. So really allowing the knees to bend. And if you do let the knees bend, you can start to kind of push the hips out to the side. And since we are going to be focusing on the outer hips, this might target the outer hips a little bit. It's okay even to take the feet a little wider. That can help because then you can really kind of push to one side and then the other. So maybe taking the feet a little wider on your mat so you can really shift the weight and push the hip out to the side. And since we're in this down dog for a long time already, if you get a little tired, you can always come down to your knees. You can rest your wrists. Let's just hold for a couple more breaths. Come back to a regular down dog. Let's just go ahead and do our first warrior. So we'll inhale, extend right leg up behind you, reaching back. Your exhale to guide right foot to the top of the mat. Turn left heel to the floor behind you, and you'll shift your weight back into that foot so your hands can easily lift off the ground. Float your way up, hinge from hips, rising up, facing forward, arms up in the air, warrior one. We'll exhale, carefully fold to bring your palms back down to the mat. Just step right back into down dog. So step the foot back, let your hips rise right up. Other side, same thing. Inhale, extend left leg up into the air. Just reach back energetically. Your exhale to guide left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel can turn to the ground. Shift the weight back so your hands are light. There you go. Rising up, inhale, warrior one. And our exhale, folding, plant the hands. Let's step back right into down dog. Hips in the air. Let's go to the floor. Go ahead and bend your knees, kneel down. We're going to sit back and then sit down. So just sit down in the center of your mat. Swing the legs around to the front here. Find that center. And when you're there, go ahead and lie down onto your back. So we're going to go to bridge pose. You're going to lie down with your knees bent, feet flat on the ground. And maybe just even pause here for a moment and let the body disengage and completely relax and just melt into the ground. Maybe just a couple breaths here. We're going to move into bridge, and so we want to start that movement with breath, so just bringing energy back into the body. So when you're ready, inhale, just fill up your lungs. Exhale, and then blow the air out through the mouth, engaging the belly, and then lift your hips up off the ground, just straight up into the air. And once you've lifted, make some adjustments if you need to. I like to take my feet a little wider. That just gives me a little bit more space in my hips and low back, so I can actually lift my hips a little higher. And with the upper body, You might even bend the elbows at 90 degrees, pressing your triceps down into the ground, and that might allow you to lift your chest and upper body a little higher, or even just bracing yourself a little bit more. And if you're able, you can even squeeze shoulder blades together, engaging your upper back muscles as you hold this position. Just a few more breaths, just a nice opening for the whole front side of your body. Feel this wonderful engagement, energetic self. One more breath in. And as you exhale, wiggle the toes forward a little bit, extend your arms into the air, and then roll your way back down. And just come back to that disengaged body, just relaxed here on the mat. Let's stay here for one more pose. It's eye of the needle pose, which is a hip opener. So this will start that outer hip work. So we're going to lift the left foot, cross this left ankle over right knee or thigh, basically. It's really over your thigh. So your left knee will point off to the left side of the room. You kind of create like the number 4 with the leg, just crossing the leg. Now this might start some sensation in the outer thigh and hip of that left side, but if not, pick up the right foot and just draw the legs closer towards your chest. And that should get into that outer left hip. And then the eye of the needle is this. You take your left hand and just like it was a thread, just let it thread through the eye of the needle, that opening between the legs, and then hold on to either your shin or your hamstring of the right leg. And while you've got that leg crossed, and I'm going to try to remember to say this in other postures, flex the left foot. You actually flex both feet, just to keep the legs active. And also it stabilizes the hips too, and that's what we kind of want to happen. So a nice stabilization with flexed feet, it just keeps things active. So we're just getting that initial engagement and sensation in the hips. Let's switch sides. So let's go ahead and place the foot back down, uncross the leg, pause for a moment, just some stillness there. And then we'll cross right ankle over left thigh. So same thing, as you cross it, go ahead and flex the right foot. Check in to see if that's enough sensation. If not, pick up the left foot and draw the legs in closer towards your chest. Thread the needle. So your right arm will thread through that space. Hold on to left shin or left hamstring. And then you can kind of gauge how much sensation you want. You can draw the legs in closer. You can even lift your upper body up towards that crossed leg if you want. And once you get to that space where, okay, now I'm feeling something, that's when you want to turn on the breath a little bit more. Even imagine you're sending breath into that space. I tend to have tighter hips, so I have a lot of sensation here. So nice deep breaths. Again, both feet are flexed, keeping the legs active, helping to stabilize. Go ahead and take 2 more breaths on this side. And after that second exhale, we'll release, setting the left foot down, uncross the leg. Again, just lying still for a moment. Let everything soften, coming back to a baseline. And then whenever you're ready, hug both knees to chest, start rocking carefully forward and back. With a good exhale, rock your way up so you're in seated, and we'll just make our way into boat pose. So you can lean back again, lifting the feet, flexing the feet or pointed toes. Again, just active feet helps to stabilize the whole leg. You can hold on to the legs here and literally lift yourself up so you have a nicely extended spine. You might even lean back, which challenges that core engagement a little bit. You can release or hold on. Just a couple breaths, and we'll keep the body moving. So we'll inhale here and exhale, cross legs, hands in front or even to the side. So you can just swing the legs back behind you or step back like this into plank. Let's take our first chaturanga, finishing the push-up. Inhale, up dog or even a low cobra. Then exhale, downward facing dog. Once here, we'll breathe in, and the exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat. Stay on your feet in this forward fold. We'll inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, back down we go. Put some more weight in your heels, bend your knees, look forward, swing your arms out to the side. Yes, then stand up. There you are. Reaching high, big stretch. Exhale, hands to heart. Excellent. A breath or two here. We're going to go right into tree pose. So we're going to start shifting the weight over into the right foot. Feel nice and tall, lengthen through the spine, exhaling to engage the belly. Once you've got that stabilization, go ahead and float your left foot up. I'm just going to mirror you. Lift your left foot, flexing the foot. Again, more action and stabilization. Swing the knee out to the side, just opening up. That's our hip opener. Placing foot on the inside of the standing leg. I always go to my calf. You can always go lower if you need more balance and stability, or even bring foot to inner thigh. Okay, so just finding that place. Then your inhale, go ahead and take your arms up into the air with an active reach. Yeah, it can be wide, just actively reaching upward. It can be wide, it can be close, it can be bent like this. Just something active in the hands and arms. And it's okay if you lose your balance or wobble a little bit. There we are. And just feeling that knee kind of point off to the side. All right. Keep the arms as they are. We'll just swing that left knee forward. Lift your knee with the flexed foot, maybe a little bit higher, and then plant the foot down. Bring your arms down by your side. There you go. And once there, yeah, we can shake it all out. Just like you did at the beginning of your practice. Oh, that nice loosening feeling. Letting things go. And then when you're set, just come back to your mountain pose. Getting ready for the other side. So start shifting weight into your left foot as it roots and plants into the ground. Strong leg, lengthened spine. Our exhale to engage. Whenever you have that, we'll float the right foot up, flexing the foot there. Stabilizing, we'll swing the knee out to the side. That's the hip opener. Even if it's at an angle, that's fine. That's no worries there. Placing foot on the inside of your standing leg, low, medium, or high. And then go ahead and inhale, reach into the air. That lifting feel. If you feel kind of slouched or slumped down, we want to lift up, finding all that length, especially through the spine, even some release in the pelvis. And that release in the pelvis may even allow this right knee to point more towards the right side of the room. Good action, finding something to focus on out in front of you or even down on the ground. Good. Keep the arms as they are. We'll swing the right knee forward. We'll lift a little higher, then plant it. Swing the arms down, let it all go. That's nice. All right, we're getting set up for another flow. Find your mountain pose. Then inhale, whenever you're ready, reach high. Exhale, we'll take chair pose. We're going to hold chair for a moment. So find the initial seat, which might be something like this. Drop the hands or arms so they're parallel to the floor. Really reach like you're flying like Superman, reaching out, but then sit back and down a little deeper. And you might even sense that you are moving in two directions. You're shooting forward, but you're also sitting back. And that might give you balance, so that may allow you to sit a little deeper. Breathe in. We're going to exhale and dive downward to forward fold. Inhale, rise up halfway, monkey. Exhale, bent knees, plant the hands into your mat, walk, step, or even hop back into plank pose. We'll come right down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Situate yourself in the pose. Then inhale, extend right leg up behind you, bend your knee. So your heel comes down towards your backside. Lift the knee straight up. It doesn't have to lift high, but just a little lift, and you may even feel the hip opening towards the right side of the room. Breathe in. We're going to exhale and unwind it. Step right foot up to the top of the mat. Turn left heel to the floor, shift weight back. Hands are now light. Take your time. Rising up, Warrior One. And our exhale to Warrior Two. Maybe a little wider in the stance if you want. Taking the feet a little bit farther apart. A deeper lunge, that's just an option. Arms extending. Warrior Two, there you go. Side angle, let's reach out over that right leg. Rotate the body. Rotate the arms. Right hand down. So you might even brace your right arm against the inner right leg while your left hand reaches into the air. Some nice deep breaths in this position. We'll take a breath in. We're going to exhale, turn so you can bring the hands down to the mat. And we're going to step back into plank. Hold plank, but lift the right foot. Just lift the right foot just a few inches off the ground. Then you're going to bend that knee. Bring the knee in to center, like between the elbows. If you can see me, I'm just kind of like bringing the knee in towards the elbows, but right between them. And then re-extend the leg. And if you can, keep the leg lifted and then finish your push-up. Or set the leg down, then finish your push-up. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing. Settle in. Then the other side. Inhale, extend left leg into the air. Bend your knee so the heel comes down a bit. Lift the knee again. It doesn't have to lift high, but to get a sense that your left hip is lifting a little higher than the right side. There's the hip opener. When you exhale, go ahead and unwind it and step the left foot through, landing. Right heel to the ground. Put some weight into that back foot so there's less weight in the hands, able to rise easily. Warrior 1, and exhale, Warrior 2. I like to put a little bit more distance between the feet, get into these hips, inner thighs, side angle, reach out past your left knee, rotate the arms, not needing to go all the way down to the ground unless you want to. This left hand could touch the ground or some blocks if you have them. Bracing the arm on the inner thigh, right arm reaching into the air. And that should create some nice opening throughout the body. And again, returning to that deep breath. Let's go ahead and move. We'll take a breath in first. We'll exhale so we can turn, bring both hands back down to the ground. We're stepping back into plank, lifting the left foot. Again, just a few inches off the ground. You're in a straight line. With an exhale, bring the left knee in between the elbows. Hold for a second. And then extend the leg back. You can set the toes down or keep it lifted and then finish the push-up. Coming down, lower the legs, roll shoulders back to help open and lift through the heart space. And exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to take a seat here. So you're going to bring the knees down, take a seat. And if you've got something to sit on, whether it's some blocks or even a pillow or a rolled up yoga mat, go ahead and sit on blocks there and just sit cross-legged there. Hold that for a moment. Just want to get the hips up a little higher. Yeah. Yep. We're going to get into a pose. It's called rock the cradle. And it too can get into the hips. All right, so rock the cradle. There's some different ways you can get into this depending on your own flexibility at the initial part of this. So you're going to start with the right leg. I'm going to go with my left, but start with your right leg. You're going to bring this foot, if you can, bring it to the opposite elbow and the bend of the elbow and let it hook in there. If you can't reach there, just hold the foot in your hand, okay? And again, we're flexing the foot if you can. And then with the knee, same thing, just rest the knee in your hand or in the bend of the elbow. So you might have one of each. So you might have a foot in the elbow, a knee in the hand. If you're able, you're getting both in the bend of the elbow or both in your hands. And then once you've got it in place, we need to sit up nice and tall so that object that you're sitting on can help you sit up a little taller. And then we're hugging the leg in, but you also want to feel like your shin is going up into the air, lifting and then hugging. Lifting and hugging. Even if you're here, lift, hug, okay? And just to a point where it's like, okay, I've got sensation, I feel something there. That's the right spot. So just really depending on where you are with your own body. Deep breaths. And then here's the rocking of the cradle, just kind of just back and forth motions. And really thinking about this area where the leg meets the pelvis and how that connection is established there. And just kind of moving in that space, maybe loosening up any tightness right there. One more breath in and out. And we'll go ahead and release this. And all of us, just go ahead and place the foot in the hand and the knee in the hand. So you just got to hold. And we're going to move the leg. Okay? Again, thinking about where the leg is connected in its socket. And so we're just moving and experimenting all the different directions, yes, that we can take the leg. So we're just maneuvering the leg back and forth, up and down, circles, and explore all the different ways that your leg can move. You might even loosen up some parts just with this manipulation. Even find a spot, and this is what I like to do. I like to find a spot where I can get a stretch. For me, it's when I take the foot back around this way, because then I get that stretch that I need down through here. So my IT band gets pretty tight right into my hip and glute. So I like to take this little stretch, to that side, and just kind of hold that, yeah. So wherever it feels right for you, you can continue the motion if that's best for you. Find that stretch point. It might even be more out. Maybe you want the inner thigh stretch, okay? Just regaining maybe some mobility and flexibility in that area, okay? Let's go ahead and release. And just go ahead and switch so we can get to the other side. Same thing, so we'll rock the cradle, so foot to the hand or bend of the elbow. I think I'm going to do hand on this one. My knee is been acting a little funny, so I'm just going to go here, I think. So I'm going to lift the shin up. Actually, make sure you're sitting up tall too. Lifting the shin up and hug in. Lift, hug, lift, hug. I'm going to pause there. Even with foot in hand, foot is still flexed. Breathing, that's the key, that's it. Whatever you might be doing, whatever position or posture, even if you're doing something completely different from this, be sure this breath is always the constant breath. And then rock the cradle. Just adding the little movement there, especially in this tighter, because we don't naturally sit like this, or we're naturally not in this position, right? And so it's probably somewhat tight. We can give it a little movement. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and loosen that up and go ahead and place foot in hand, knee in hand here, so then we can manipulate the leg in its socket, all those wonderful directions. Oh, this feels good too. So finding that mobility, flexibility, range of motion. Little stretches that might feel good. Yes. There you go. Good. Excellent. About 3 more breaths with this. All right. So completing that side. If you are sitting on a prop, we'll come off of our props. Just set those to the side, but keep them handy. We're going to come back to a boat-like position. So basically just seated with the legs out front, knees bent, feet flexed on the ground like this. Take your hands behind you and just lean back, okay? Just creating a lot of distance between the chest and the legs right there. We're going to do another leg cross. So you're going to cross left ankle over right thigh, like we did earlier lying down. You let the leg cross, you're going to bring this right foot that's on the floor in a little closer, maybe with foot flat on the ground. Now check in, maybe there's enough sensation here where you don't have to do anything else. Or push hands into the floor to straighten the arms, lifting upward and then sending the heart forward. So lifting upward and then sending the heart forward towards the cross leg. So we've already done this twice. We've done this lying down in the eye of the needle pose, and you really just did it in that rock the cradle pose. It's just another version of this. And this is nice too, because you can still kind of manipulate how much or how little you want as far as sensation. Forward gives you more, leaning back gives you less. Be sure this left foot is flexed. 2 more breaths. And then to get out of that sensation, lean back, maybe step right foot forward, so it's easy to uncross. If you need to rest your wrist, you can always sit up and rest the wrist if you need to. And we'll get ready for the other side. Okay, whenever you're ready, no rush. So some space, so we can cross right ankle over left thigh whenever you're set. We'll bring the left foot in. It doesn't even have to be flat on the ground. Maybe just a little bit in with the heel on the ground. Let's flex this right foot. Push hands into the ground to feel the body lift up and send it forward. Again, just to the place where it feels just right and what you might need. Adjust if you need to. If it's too much, soften it up. If it doesn't feel like much at all, then you might want to give a little bit more to the posture. You can even add movement to this. I'm just adding this little rocking sensation. Again, getting into that hip a little bit. Three more breaths. Whenever you feel complete, let's make space so we can get out of the pose. So you might lean back, send the left foot forward so it's an easy uncross. Rest the wrists. A little counter stretch perhaps. A quick boat pose just for transitioning. So lifting the feet, flexed feet, lifting up tall, breathe in. And exhale, cross legs. If you can, roll forward onto the hands or to the side and just swing the legs back behind you. Either a shortcut to down dog or finish chaturanga. Either one. To up dog, taking you into downward facing. Let's get a nice flow going here. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you, bend and twist, open. Unwind, exhaling, stepping through. Warrior 1, left heel plants into the ground, rising up when you're ready. And Warrior 2. That's it, nice wide stance, side angle. Reaching out, rotate the arms. Once you're in the position, just an inhale to expand and open a bit more. We're going to exhale, returning to the floor with the hands. Back to down dog, so the right foot is going to sweep back and right up into the air. So down dog with right leg re-extended. Exhale, step through again, this time for high lunge. So the left heel stays lifted in high lunge. We are shifting the weight back so there's less weight in the hands so you can lift your upper body into the air. Reach up dynamically, lunging with that same dynamic. Maybe some hip flexor release right there on the left side. Now from here we're going to hinge forward. A nice angled upper body, keep reaching through the arms. We're going to send the weight into the right foot. So you need to push through the back foot to get weight into the front foot so you can actually just step forward into chair pose. That same action we did earlier, bring arms to parallel with the ground. Sit back and down a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale, dive forward. Forward fold. Monkey pose. Exhale, hands to the mat. We'll step back into plank. Finish the flow as you'd like. Meeting together in downward facing. So choose a little vinyasa that feels right, that you'd like to do. Once we're in down dog, we'll inhale, extend left leg into the air, bend and twist open. The exhale to unwind, sending foot to the top of the mat. Right heel to the ground, rising only when you're ready, no rush. Exhale, open, Warrior 2. Side angle, reach out, tip it over, rotate the arms. Hold here just to expand and open as you inhale. We exhale to turn the body, bring the hands to the mat, back to down dog. So the left foot sweeps back right up into the air. Okay, then step through for high lunge. Left foot to the top of the mat, right heel stays lifted, shift the weight back, lightness in the hands so you can rise up, hold, reach up, lunge low, feel the energy in the body. This kind of has a back bend sense to it. So we get out of the back bend by hinging forward. We're about 45 degrees, still actively reaching. Let's get weight into the front foot so we can release the back foot and step through to chair pose. Drop arms to parallel. Sit back and down a little deeper. Right away, stand up tall this time. Reach for the sky, arms down by your side. That's a lot of work on the shoulders too, just because the arms are up in the air all that time. So let's shake that out. Okay. Let's do another cross-legged position. Okay, this will be the fourth version of the same thing we've been doing earlier, getting into the outer hips. So setting it up like tree, shifting weight into the right foot, nice and tall. When you're ready, we'll float the left foot up into the air. Flex the foot like you're kicking a soccer ball. Just kick the soccer ball. Keep the leg there. Bend the right knee so you can just cross this ankle over thigh. Stay like this, nice and tall. Hands on hips, just to make sure that they're aligned. That's going to help with some of the balance with this pose. Okay, I'm just going to turn sideways. Okay, so a nice steady long spine. Bending the knee. Start to tip. So your heart is coming kind of forward. Hips pointing back. So we're still in a straight line. It's just like chair pose. So with an extended spine. And you can go here. You can even go a little lower. Pushing the hips back, sending the head forward, just like you had sent the arms forward for balance. Finding maybe something to focus on the ground, because that's where your eye line probably is. And feel that hip release. We're going to go ahead and stand back up. As you're getting tall, go ahead and uncross the leg. Lift the knee with the flexed foot. Maybe lift a little higher. Then plant the foot into the ground. You can shake that out. Okay. There is the option to keep hands on hips like I did in that sequence, or you can release and have the arms extending. Either one's fine for this. Let's do the other side. So start shifting weight into the left foot. Root, tall up top, core connected with your exhale. We'll float right foot up. Kick the soccer ball, bend the left knee, cross. Stay here. It's just kind of just setting there for a second. Hands on hips, check in with alignment here to help with balance. Focus is somewhere out in front of you. And then we'll take that seat. So you're bending the knee, sitting back with the hips, heart forward. Going as low as you want. Maybe this is it right here. Maybe this is enough. Make sure this right foot is flexed. You're certainly welcome to get down a little lower and deeper, which I'm going to do, just enough to get into that outer hip and glute, right about there for me. Remember, the hands can stay on hips, or even just kind of resting on your leg or out front, if that helps with balance. But focus where you're looking helps with balance, and that might be on the ground out in front of you somewhere. 2 more breaths. Okay, we're going to stand up. As you're standing, let's uncross the leg. Lift the knee. Lift it a little higher. That's just a little hip work right there. Plant foot into the ground. Release it all. Okay. Well, let's make our way down to the floor. We're going to show you one more thing. Together, let's inhale, reach into the sky. Exhale, it's swan dive. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, bend the knees, hands to the mat. Just step back into plank. Shortcut to down dog. Just bend the knees, hips into the air. Downward facing. Let's just go ahead and take a seat again. Okay, just bring the knees down. Take a seat. You can just sit on the ground, sit comfortably. You can sit on your prop if you want to. I'm just going to show you something here. So you can just sit. You don't have to do this just yet. Okay, so the next pose in a moment, I'm just going to demonstrate it. We'll start here. I'm going to send my left knee forward, just so you can see that. I'm just sending my knee right up to my wrist, right up there. And then I'm going to move that knee over to center. So it's there. I need to get the weight off my hands, so I'm going to step the hands forward and then also tuck my toes back here. And then I'm going to lift that knee. You can see how I shifted forward to lift that knee behind me. This left foot that I'm tapping, I'm just going to swing it over to the right edge of my mat. Maybe shifting more forward so I can actually lift this leg off the ground. And let's make that just have a good awareness of that lift, because you're flexing the leg muscles, your glute, your hamstring, calf, and even an engaged foot, just with that lift. Then we're going to bend the knee and then tuck this knee in tightly behind the left knee, so nice and tight, and then swing that foot off to the other side. So it leaves a space behind you. And we're just going to walk back and then sit down. Now, if you can, you're going to sit in that space. If you can't reach the space, like maybe this is it, right here, because this is, again, getting into the outer hips. Use that block or that cushion that you may have and bring it between the feet, and then you can sit up a little taller, okay? So this is cow face pose. It's only half of the posture, however. Okay, we're only doing the leg portion to get into the hips. This feels okay with me. I could actually sit a little deeper to get more into the hips, because this feels like it's okay. But let's say you wanted to go lower, but you couldn't keep the legs as they are. Maybe they kind of uncrossed a lot. That's okay, okay? Because you probably will still feel this in the hips, okay? All right, so let's try that together. Have your prop ready to go that you can grab for your little cushion to sit on, but we're going to start hands and knees. When you're there, we'll start with that left knee. Same thing, we'll send the left knee forward up to the wrist. Left knee to left wrist, and then send it to center between the wrists. And then step your hands forward so you can curl the toes behind you so you can lift that right knee off the ground. That's just going to make space so you can actually swing the left foot over to the right edge of your mat. Yes, opposite side. Lean forward a bit more so you can actually flex the whole right leg, lift it up. Just hold that for a second so you can feel that engagement. Very good. Bend the right knee and then tuck it in tightly behind the left knee, nice and snug. And then swing the right foot off to the left side. And there's your space behind you. And getting both knees on the ground, I'm just stepping the hands back so I can take the seat, or just to the place where you have enough sensation, because it could be here, where your hands are still in front. This could be your pose, because I even feel this, a lot, okay? But I'm going to try to sit. I'm going to first just sit on the blocks, just so I can get off my hands. Let the body get used to this, okay? Good, Ben, just stay just like that if that feels good. Here. But I've got two blocks. I'm going to remove one of them and just carefully sit down a little deeper. Oh yeah, feeling that one now. Now if this feels fine, then you may want to, a couple things you can do. You can fold forward. That might bring some more attention to the hips. Or send the feet forward, if that makes sense. Like if you can bring the feet forward and then fold, yes. Oh yes, there's the magic right there. Okay. Now this is a posture where you may want to hold for a bit. Let's just take 3 more breaths. Okay, if you're folded, we're going to come back up. Let's see if we can get out of this pose. If you're sitting on something, let's just try this. Let's actually just uncross the legs, even if you're still sitting on something, okay? And then lift your hips, either scoot forward maybe, or just so you can actually move your prop out of the way. Okay? Lean back into the hands, cross left ankle over right thigh. Let's do that same outer hip stretch right there. Okay, keeping this leg crossed just as it is, I'm just going to kind of swivel This left foot is flexed. I'm just going to basically turn the hips until the foot comes down to the ground. Yes. And then seeing if you can sit up tall, releasing the right hand, and then creating a twist. Just continue twisting to your left. There you go. Three more breaths. After the third breath, lean back into both hands so you can swing forward, uncross the legs, boat pose. We're going to cross legs here, roll forward or to the side, hands in front, back to plank. Finish the sequence, chaturanga, up dog, and downward facing dog. Here, extend right leg up into the sky. Bend and twist open. Unwind, step through for a high lunge. Okay. Yep, hands rise up into the air. Oops. Hinge forward. Reach and extend, shifting weight into the right foot. Same thing. See if we can get the weight into the right foot so you can actually flex the left foot and lift it up off the ground. That whole leg very active. So it's kind of flying in space here. Bend the knee. Bring the knee forward. We're going to do a little soccer kick right here. Kick the soccer ball. Cross ankle over thigh. Take a seat. Now the arms can stay extended or bring them down to the leg or even to the hips like we did earlier. All correct. So again, we're still working that left hip. We're just going to stand up. Uncross the leg, lift the knee, flexed foot, lift it past parallel if you can. Plant foot into the ground. If the arms are up, just keep them up. We'll all meet you there, reaching into the sky. Exhale, swan dive. Monkey pose. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back, hop back. Plank, coming down if you'd like. Up dog. Downward facing dog. We'll gently set the knees onto the ground. We're setting up to do the other side. So we'll slide the right knee forward up towards wrist, then slide it to center. Step your hands forward. So you can curl the left set of toes so you can lift that knee off the ground. Swing your right foot over towards the left edge of your mat behind you. Yeah. Flexing that left leg so you can lift the leg into the air. Now you just did this a little earlier. Bend that knee. We're going to tuck that knee tightly in and behind the right knee, nice and snug. Swing the left foot over towards the right edge of your mat. Now we've made that space. We're walking the hands back so we can take our seat. Or staying here, kind of in this little forward fold-like sensation with hands on the ground in front, because this is perfect here. Or sitting all the way back, using your blocks if you need to. Oof. You can be sitting up tall, you can fold forward, or send the feet forward, which may put in a little bit more oof sensation in those outer hips, especially if you're still sitting forward. Okay, now we're getting this whole right side. So the first sequence got to the left side, this whole segment should get to the right side. And again, these would be a great holding posture. Something like in yin yoga where you might hold a pose for 20 minutes. Maybe not that long, but like 12 minutes. You might hold a pose for like 12 minutes or so. And this could be one of them. All right, if you're folded, we're going to come back up. Maybe hands on the floor so you can uncross the legs. If you're sitting on a block or an object, lift and scoot off of it so you can move it out of the way. Let's keep the hands behind us, lean back. Let's cross right ankle over left thigh. Still working this right side. Maybe bring the left foot in a little closer. Send your heart up closer towards the cross leg. Remember to flex this foot. There you go, yes. Yeah, you can add that little rocking sensation, which is nice. But we're going to take that twist. So flexed right foot, just send that foot just down to the ground. Sit up a little taller. Left hand can maybe hold on to this knee. Sit up tall enough to continue the twist to the right side. And this too potentially can get into that right outer thigh and hip. Couple more breaths here. And we take both hands behind us. We can lean back. Let's return to that boat-like sensation. Go ahead and uncross. Take boat. And flow through. Cross legs, hands in front or to the side. Long straight line plank, coming down. Up dog, downward facing. Okay, now the standing posture. Inhale, extend left leg into the sky. Left foot to the top of the mat, high lunge. Shifting the weight back a bit, lightness in the hands. We can go so we can rise up, reach and lunge. Get into that right hip flexor, hinge forward. We're still kind of moving from center. That's the center of gravity, but we're shifting that center to the left foot. So we need to get the weight into the left foot so we can pick up the right leg, or right foot flexed, strong, extended, balanced. Bending the knee. Send the knee forward. Cross ankle over thigh. Here we are. Arms can stay extended out front, like that. Resting on the knees, or the joints here, or hands on hips. Finding a focal point that might help with balance. Stay in tune with the breath. I can hear you. That sounds good. All right, let's stand up. Arms can stay in the air if they're up. Uncross the leg, lift the knee, plant the foot. Let's all reach up into the sky. Look up for a minor back bend. Exhale, swan dive. Monkey, lifting up halfway. Our exhale, hands to the mat. Walk or step back, plank, chaturanga. Up dog, yeah. And downward facing. Let's take a child's pose here so the knees can come down. Take the knees wide. Now what you could do, you can just simply go into child's pose. Something like this. If you need a little stretch in the inner thighs, feel free to take this into frog pose. So you can do, if you're in child, stay there, but if you want to try a frog pose, you may want to take the legs out much wider, way out, shins parallel to the edges of your mat, feet flexed, like so. Maybe coming down to elbows, something like this to get to inner thighs, okay? This is just an option. You can just be in child's pose, okay? Yes, yes, yes. There you go. But I know my body is needing this. So it can just be that static hold in the posture, or just that gentle rocking. If you just kind of rock the hips a little bit, I'm just moving forward and back, and it's like a little massage in that joint section, just to help some of that release. Very nice. If you've been here long enough, because you can certainly come out of the pose and just come to something a little bit more, soft and easy. Whenever you feel complete, Coming out of your frog pose or child's pose, rising up so we can actually take a seat and lie down on your back. Again, go at your own pace. We're going to finish with a twist. So once you've made it to your back, you can just hug the knees in. Take the knees over to the left side. Extend your right arm to the right side. Just one final attempt to get into not only the lower back, perhaps, in this rotation, but maybe once again into the hip. And just 2 more breaths, or longer if you like to stay a little longer in this pose on this side. When you feel it's time to move, you can come back to center, hold there briefly, and then down to the other side. Just a couple more breaths, or again, longer if you need to. And when you feel complete, you can return to center and extend your legs out front onto the ground, arms resting down by your side, guiding yourself into Shavasana. So just like earlier, we took the time just to feel the body completely relax and melt into the earth. It's a great opportunity to experience, even if you're just imagining it, that tension that you may have located in your body. Maybe shook it up a little bit. Let it break up a little bit. And then we just send it energetically down into the earth. Just freeing yourself up. Return to the awareness of your breath. Take 5 slow, deep breaths. And feel movement return to your body. As you feel that movement return, take your time, no rush at all. Slowly and carefully roll onto either side of your body. Just finding a nurturing pose for a breath or two. And then from here, no rush, finding your way up to seated. Find that re-extension of your spine as you sit up tall and proud. Then we'll inhale, extend your arms out and up into the air. As you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Hold in stillness and take one more breath. And as we complete our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.
Namaste.